boy, bones. Bones, scary. Anyway, let's get this show on the road. 'Tis a new Monday, and so there is a new weekly challenge, isn't there? Let's see. Nay evidence. These ghosts really don't want to help you out, but we're sure you're up to the task. Correctly find the ghost in Grafton Farmhouse. Well then, I was kind of waiting for one of these to occur, since the no evidence challenge is probably one of the most classic ones. Interesting. Grafton, it said, right? Did it say Grafton? It did say Grafton. Alright, cool. Let's give it a look. So, no evidence is a bit hard. I like Insanity for having at least one bit of evidence to nail it down a little bit more, or like to narrow down the list, but 0 is not something I usually play very much. We don't see where the breaker is, that's a shame. Hello there, lag spike. I wonder why the game still does that. It's done that since its first inception, that it just has this loading spike at some point randomly. And it's not necessarily on the first go around, sometimes it's on your third mission or whatever. Anyway, Stacy Maudsley. Side objectives don't matter, it seems like we have everything available. Except for the default flashlights, I always like when they do that. Wish you could take that out of the regular starting items as well, because it just kind of sits there and does nothing. So, while we don't get the actual evidence pieces, we can still use the equipment. So for example, we can still check with EMF whether a ghost has touched something, that sort of thing. We just will never get EMF 5. So these items are still usable and they're still decent. Also, the Mimic will still give us ghost orbs, so if we ever see ghost orbs, it's immediately a Mimic. It's the only ghost that has any sort of evidence for us. The rest we have to deduce by behavior, which can be a little bit difficult. I personally think we're not quite at the point yet in this game that, actually I don't really need this on the weekly challenges, don't I? I don't think we're quite at the point where we have every single ghost deducible purely by their behavior. I think there's still some that are a little bit more fuzzy. That is on paper fine, not all ghosts need to just be deductible via hunts. Oh, shame. I kind of expected them to have the breaker on by default for some reason, I don't know why. Doesn't make sense since I also hit the breaker on the map, never mind. I talk shit. Well, we found the down by coincidence, may as well. So it's fine for... Ooh, this is very cold in here. Specifically this corner, apparently. Back to normal. Maybe the ghost teleported to me. Fuck, I should have checked with the EMF. Maybe the ghost was right there. Okay, let's maybe assume that that might be a clue. I don't know. Something like that. But yeah, not all the ghosts need to be immediately deductible via the... deductible is probably not the right word, huh? Via hunting. Especially not something like the Revenant, where you know immediately upon hearing which ghost it is right away. So that's on paper fine, it just means that these challenges are always going to be a little bit iffy. So we'll have to, well, we'll just see how many attempts I'll have to take. Right, Morpho? Hope you're doing alright. Welcome in to our weekly ghost hunting bonanza. Getting to do a very difficult challenge this week, because we get 0 evidence to work with. And have to do everything basically by the ghost's behavior. So sometimes you get a bit lucky with this sort of thing and you get a ghost that is super easy to identify from some very basic behavior. So for example, if we do get a Revenant, like I just mentioned during a hunt, he will immediately reveal himself and we will immediately know, okay, yeah, this is a Revenant, everything's fine. Very cold in this corner. This might be where the ghost is hanging out. Oh yeah. You are definitely here. You're tossing items all over the place. Ghost does not like shoes. So it is in this tiny cubby here. Or is it? Maybe it's over here. Somewhere around here, anyway. Oh. Let's keep this. I'll actually toss... I thought that was a hunt. Holy fuck, that scared the shit out of me. I was not ready. I was also very happy, honestly, even though it was scary as fuck, because if that is a hunt, then that is the easiest demon of my life. Because no other ghost could hunt that quickly, given that nothing else had happened yet. Yeah, we're at 84% sanity. There's no way any ghost other than a demon could hunt us right now. However, breaking the light is a little bit annoying, because obviously that makes it harder to see. Who could have thought? Let's grab a camera so we can check and make sure that it's not a mimic. What else do we want? I do need to lose some sanity so we eventually get hunted, so I'm not gonna bring in candles just yet. Let's grab some of these to track down where exactly the ghost is hanging out. I kept my torch for some reason. I should have left it behind. Oh well. It's autopiloting. Ghost orbs can be a bit tricky with the snow happening, because sometimes snow falls into the rooms, which doesn't really make much sense, but that's just how it goes sometimes. So you did break this light, yes? Yes, okay, so not in the side room, but in this room. Okay, let's have a quick look around. You are tossing shit around in here. Not in here. I should not have dropped that, I need to see. Can't be seen without my camera. Okay, so let's plop this back down here. I want to make sure that you do not leave the room without me knowing. And let's just plop this onto the side of the bed. Didn't quite get to see what event that was. One thing we can immediately rule out is a shade. A shade would not be this active this early on. We have had 2 ghost events. One broke a light switch, which could indicate a mare, but most ghosts do that eventually if you get unlucky. Chose 2 events that aren't an airball event, so it could still be an Oni. How are we doing sanity-wise? That didn't hit me. Or it didn't hit me for very much. No, it probably just straight up didn't hit me. Interesting. Okay. I thought that ghost event hit me. Ooh. Yep, center of the room. Right, I want to grab some salt so we can check whether you're a wraith or not. I also need a photo camera, and I do need to see eventually, so maybe I'll just bring the flashlight just so we can actually see the rest of the room. I really regret not having dropped it there now. Sorry, my nose is a bit stuffy. Sort that out a little bit. Okay, so it did earlier wander through this area with the motion sensor, so let's just plop this down here. Is this the door you fondled? Let's take a picture and find out. It is, okay. You do it again. Me may as well. And then we'll set up some candles. It's gonna slow our sanity drain down a little bit, but the ghost is already doing ghost events and shit, so we A, get to see the environment a bit, and B, we get to check for Onryo, which would be useful. So we got candles and a lighter. I'm not gonna turn these on just yet. I want to be present when they're on, so if the ghost does extinguish them, we can actually count the well, we can count when that happens and then be ready for an early hunt from an Onryo. Oh, you wandered through here but didn't trigger the salt. I guess if you take that tightly enough... Oh, never mind. Okay, it's not a wraith. Could also always use the dots to see in the room. The green glow from the dots projector is usually pretty good at providing some sort of light as well. So it's not a wraith. Can rule that one out. I was kind of hoping for one, since we had that instance at the very start where the room was suddenly in one specific corner and the, like, below 1 degree temperature area. So I was thinking maybe the ghost had teleported over. Could have just been naturally roaming, or it could be the whatchamacallit, the thermometer just bugging out with it. Or behaving a bit weirdly. Oh, it's stepped into more salt. Yep, all 3 piles have been disturbed at this point. Very good. Right, do I want to bring something else in before we start those? Oh, I could check for cursed possessions actually. I keep forgetting about those. Because I play too much Insanity mode, which doesn't have them. What else do I need to bring in? Let's grab these. Or, well, those I should say, not these. 1 paramedic in case it is a Banshee. We get a Banshee Scream. Rare but useful. What else can we do to identify ghosts immediately? I'm gonna bring a second camera because I have a bad habit of missing or dropping one. This will bring a second lighter by the other and drop it by the other candles. So I'm gonna light those candles and then squat near them. See if an Onryo does anything weird. We'll sit there with the paramedic in hand, just in case we get a fancy noise. It's not an Oni. Let me blow my nose real quick. Apparently it blew out both candles at once, that's a bit suspicious. Also, it touched something near me when it did that. Could be twins. Yeah, it threw that shoe, didn't it? Huh. Okay, we had 1 whisper, so... Why is there EMF here? Anyway, 2 candles blown out, so on the 3rd one, if it doesn't hunt, then it's not an Onryo. Go a footstep on the paramedic. Come on, blow out another candle. Give me a sign, please. There's more whispers, I guess that'll count. Oh, blew out a candle. Not an Onryo. Alright. Another footstep. I can't really say anything else about any of these. It was a bit earlier with the, bit awkward earlier with the shoe being thrown plus 2 candles being extinguished. That's a lot of interactions at once. Could be a twins thing. Yeah, you really like blowing out these candles. So yeah, definitely not an Onryo. I would have guaranteed hunted at this point. Please do not hit me with a road sign or any other heavy object. That would be cheating. I can't protect myself from that with a crucifix. Maybe it doesn't count interacting with candles as a possible to interaction. Because I think I've seen other ghosts do that very quickly as well, just blow out multiple candles somewhat at once. I'm gonna go back and quickly check my sanity on the chart. I'm gonna keep my camera on me at all times, I think, so that we can take a picture and rule out a phantom. So if we are still on reasonably high sanity, then it's not a Moroi. The Moroi curses you whenever you get a spirit box response or a paramic sound picked up. And... ooh, that is pretty low. That is very low. Are you a Moroi? So anyway, let me finish that thought and explain why. I think that might be a Moroi. So the Moroi curses you when you get a spirit box response or a paramag sound picked up, and the curse of the Moroi makes it so your sanity drains faster, and it drains while you're in the light. And this entire time we've been squatting on candles, which should prevent our sanity from draining naturally. So unless the ghost is using some sort of special ability or like ghost events, it shouldn't have taken that much of our sanity. So the way I want to test for this is I'm gonna go back into the house and we're gonna sit in the daylight, or well, daylight, haha, in the light, and see if our sanity drains, and then we come back in. So the light is on in this room, so we hang out over here. Oh, the ghost is here right now, that's a bit unfortunate. Spend some seconds just hanging out here. And if we are cursed by Moroi, then our sanity should be continuing to drain. Okay, no items being tossed, no events, nothing, and we were in complete light, so we should not have lost more sanity. That is roughly the same, isn't it? It was flickering in that range. I guess we go back in and check again. Why are we so low sanity though? If it's not a Moroi. It must be a Moroi. I really can't imagine another ghost being able to drain that much sanity so quickly. That sounds pretty normal speed, but we're just on the... We're on pretty much normal sanity. I think it ended. Yep. Let's see, how low are we? Now, we did definitely lose some sanity for staying in the dark for a little bit, but we shouldn't have lost a lot. Because we're hugging candles all the time, or almost all the time. Yeah, we're losing sanity quite rapidly, it feels like. Okay, I'm gonna drop my stuff by the entrance, and we're gonna go back into the room and hang out for a while, and then we'll bring some sanity pills over. And then we can use those while the ghost is hunting. And see if the ghost slows down. Let's actually use one of these early, just so we don't get killed on the way over to the other room. Okay, these restore a lot. We were on like, what, 36 or something, so it gives 30%. I like that these actually say ghost hunting on them. A pill specifically made for ghost funneling. That's quite something. So the curse should be over the moment you pop a sanity pill, so if there is a Moroi and it did curse us, then we are now uncursed for the foreseeable future. At least until we get another paramag response. So we were on roughly 66 or something, I said, in terms of sanity. So we hang back out here on the candles, make sure we don't get funneled by anything, and if we do, we take a picture at the very least. Don't touch me, I want my sanity. Thank you. Photos. Yep, definitely not a phantom, can roll that one out. Speaking of ruling things out, let's quickly go through here. It's definitely not a Deo, it's definitely not a Thay. It did sound pretty normal, but it's sometimes hard to tell. Could be twins, but I think that was not the same as default move. I think that was default move speed, so I don't think it's twins. It's definitely not a Mimic because we didn't have Ghost Orbs. It's definitely not a Revenant, that would be very obvious. It took its sweet time to start hunting us. That's probably not a demon. A Hantu should be slightly slower, maybe? It's hard to say. It's not a Raiju, it would have been much faster in this area and then slower as it left. I think we could hear it just fine, so I'm gonna say it's not a Myling either. Can't really say anything about the rest of the possible ghosts. Don't really have a very good reason for turning these on, just why not? I like seeing things. The camera is less important now that we have the picture taken already, confirming that it is not a phantom. There's something upstairs. Knocking on the window upstairs as well, but there was a ghost event from down here earlier. Could just be roaming, but that's still weird. Maybe it is twins. And I just misheard the speed. So unless candles are currently bugged, we should still be at roughly 60, like what were 66 I think last I checked. So we should still be at like 64, 65-ish% sanity. It always has a bit of a range that it flickers between, but we shouldn't have really lost any major sanity amount. Maybe candles are bugged, or maybe that event did officially hit me or something. I popped a sanity pill, so we can't be cursed anymore. I was almost entirely squatting on a fucking candle the entire time. So maybe it's just bugged and we didn't get a clue for a Moroi. There's no way we should have been losing sanity. Huh. I'm very confused. Weird. Well, I guess we keep the exact same equipment. Since we can't really... we might still get a random Banshee Scream. Regardless, it seems like we got unlucky and we got a ghost that has default movement speed during a hunt. Usually the easiest way of finding out the ghost without evidence is that if they have... is them having special movement speed during hunts. Because then the list narrows down a lot immediately. I still want to hang out over here because if it is a Moroi, which, you know, might be a lot less likely all of a sudden. Oh, you're coming in here. Hello. Either coming or going. But yeah, if it is a Moroi, its movement speed scales with our sanity, so if I pop these pills while a hunt is going on, it'll suddenly slow down a lot. So basically, we sit here and wait for a hunt to start. Ooh, okay. There's the Church of the Crucifix. It is trying to hunt. That was around 50%, so it's not like early or late hunting. Some objects in the side room. Come on, give me a Banshee Scream or something. Stop throwing shit around. You have to clean that up afterwards. Yes, hi. That's another whisper. We just speed eat these pills once a hunt starts. Because we're actually hanging out in the room with the ghost. Okay, it's definitely not a Moroi. Oh, it's an Obake! Sweet! I hadn't gotten to see that before, that's so cool. It changed shape! Hooray! We got the new Obake effect. Sweet! Light! Sorry, light is on a bit of a short supply right now. sort that out in a bit once the hunt is over. That's so cool though, we got the Obake effect where it does actually change shape during hunts now. Sweet. Alright. So it seems like candles are just bugged then, because we did lose sanity while sitting on candles. That's not how that's supposed to work in my experience. Or to my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge. We got all the side objectives as well by sheer coincidence, very good. That's alright though.
I've prepared some jobs for you.
Well, I was starting to say earlier that not all ghosts are easily identifiable without evidence at this point, but Obake is one that recently got updated, so you do actually have a clue now. And the clue being that you can see it sometimes change shape during hunts, and that's what it did. And we know that it's an Obake because of it. How cool is that? Very fun. Well, let's go again. I don't really remember where all the cursed possessions are. I wonder if we have any of them present. Phasmophobia, alright, Miyako? I can't speak. May not have been up for very long. Or I started the last stream. I think the music box spawns here, or maybe in the living room. Arrow card spawn on this table, if I recall correctly. Yeah. Are you not golden pathing? Thought you might be golden pathing. Right, we have light. Let's see, so we are at around 9 degrees, 8 degrees, 7 degrees. 6 degrees, no shame. How are we doing over here then? Very normal. Hydrate, you say? I shall oblige. Everything seems pretty normal over here. As far as normal is concerned when it comes to ghosts. Thought I heard something upstairs. Pretty confident I heard something upstairs. I'm gonna finish my search down here first though. Because I'm mostly confident but not 100%, so it may as well. Take the couple of seconds, have a look down here. The fuck is this? Has that always been there? That asset stands out a bit. Weird. Nothing weird in the bathroom, thankfully. We do not want bathroom weirdness. Fuck's sake, I have 0 mouse accuracy. Imagine actually being able to click a light switch. It just keeps moving whenever I turn the camera, it's really hard. Right, so it seems like it's not downstairs or the room has not cooled properly just yet. Oh, yeah, I definitely heard something again. Pretty sure that was upstairs as well. Might be in this bathroom. No, apparently not. It's a bit colder. Pretty cold for a room that is this small. I mean, this area is also still pretty cold. Well, you've been tossing objects, so we should be able to see the mess you've made somewhere. There's a bone. Oh, glad I checked that. No hiding here. No summoning circle. So are you just in this upstairs landing area sort of thing? Because the temperature was a lot lower here initially. warmed up drastically in the meanwhile, huh? Like just in the short time that we took to touch the attic. Was it not upstairs, the noise that we heard? Weird. Okay, it is still comparatively really cold in this corner. Give me a sign. Please. Thank you. Ooh, it turned on a light, so it's not a mare. Wait, so why is it so warm here? Shouldn't it be colder? I am so confused. That was all the way downstairs. Are you twins? Oh, you're just in this... Ah, you're down here. That's why your area is so big. I see. That's awkward. Oh well. Temperature? Wanna update properly? Okay, there we go. Yeah, it is just in this, well, in the landing in general. That's not great, but we'll make do with that somehow. At least it's easy to ferry items over, so that's one advantage. 75, 72%-ish. Could be worse. Right, let's start with a camera to make sure that we're not dealing with a mimic. And then I'll get set up on some candles. We need a camera so we can take a picture when it shows up. Ding. Really do like that piano, don't you? Can't blame you, fine instruments. Yoink. Alright, let's have a look. Is that a ghost orb? That is a ghost orb, look at that, we have a mimic. Alright then, GG easy. Goodbye. Well then, Mr. Mimic, it was nice to meet you. Goodbye. Enjoy your piano time. Well, that was nice.
Welcome back. There's some jobs ready for you.
Alright, 2 out of 3. Interesting that we had 2 very different games. I wonder what the third one is going to be like. Because in the first game we had a ghost that behaves effectively completely normal, and we could only identify it during chase while looking at it. Nothing else could have really told us that we were dealing with an Obake in that first game. And then in the next game we have a ghost that literally reveals itself the moment you check for ghost orbs, and it's one of the easiest ghosts to find as a result for this no evidence sort of thing. Maybe we get the full trifecta and we now find a ghost that immediately reveals itself in chase. So like a Revenant or a Deogen or something. Is that the mirror? It is. Okay, so we do have a cursed possession at the very least. That was probably there every single game and I'm just being stupid. Oh well. It was pretty nice of the ghost to give me a sign the moment I asked it to give me a sign though. That was very cooperative. Very nice mimic. I think there's also breaker spawn in this dead end over here. Maybe one on the left side. I can never quite remember. Same with the cursed possession locations. If I don't play a mode where that's relevant to me with the cursed possessions, I just forget immediately all about them and where they spawn. Here it is. Dink. Right, so house starts warming up now. It seems like light on or off doesn't really impact my sanity drain, or at least impacts it very little. Like we saw in that previous game where I legitimately thought we were morally cursed, even though that's not even what happened. I wonder if that's a setting they chose for this. It would be a very odd one. Maybe candles are just bugged at the moment, or a sanity drain is bugged or something. That's not me trying to rag on them for messing things up all the time, it's just something that legitimately happens in this game, that update to update something might break on the back end, because they're always trying to tinker with various items and various settings and stuff, and as a result, when there's a big update that is currently being pushed out, then, or well, that's currently worked on, then you might randomly have shit not work for a while. I heard that from all the way down. Very hard to hear because audio occlusion, what even is it? Here we go. Let's turn that off. It was on for a while, no EMF anymore. Okay, good. That's still visible. Sometimes items disappear in the little, what would you call that? The bottom bits of a door. Alright, so let's get the camera. Ma, get the camera. Get ourselves... Don't really need the candles that much if they don't drain our sanity at the moment. Let's do this. How sane are we? Pretty sane this time. But yeah, in an upcoming patch that's probably not very far away, I'm assuming like a week or two, they're planning to rework pretty much all of the items. Or at least change the way the items work overall. Maybe not rework all of the items, but like all the, there's like gonna be multiple levels of the various items that you can unlock and then use in different ways. And there's gonna be more items in general, so I would not be surprised if in the process of setting the game up for that, they are breaking some things. Like sanity continuing to drain in candlelight. Okay, it seems like we don't have ghost orbs this time. Which is fair enough, we can't always be so lucky. Just leave the camera here as well, and go get ourselves some more equipment. So next let's bring a motion sensor, maybe two, as well as some salt. Well, not sure if that would officially fall under content, but yeah, effectively. Effectively content. Let's place this here? Sure, let's do here. Oh, you triggered this one. Or was that me? That might have been me. Let's bring more salt. More salt. There's actually a reason I do that. The one of the ghost models is that toddler that toddles around, or sometimes a crawling ghost hangs out, so you do actually want to set them up pretty low so you can catch the smaller ones. I used to just set them at eye level, and you would sometimes not catch a smaller ghost wandering around, so I've started to set them up on ground level. Because, well, a ghost might not be tall enough to trigger the bigger ones. And can't really float above the ground, so if you set it up on ground level, you're always gonna catch them. So I'm not just a weirdo trying to catch ghost feet pics. Did you turn the thingy back on? You did. Right. Okay, this was the ghost. No, this was not the ghost that turned on a light, so we don't know anything about it just yet. I don't know, let's just scatter the rest of this randomly. There we go. So, are you really in this room, or are you in the... I guess landing is what I call that, right? Upstairs. It seems more like this is your room. It is somewhat cold here, though. Oh well, we'll just try to set up everywhere. I did keep forgetting about overkill damage. Nowadays, I remember though. Good times, fun game though. Let's grab these. set up for Onryo shenanigans. Anyway, let's exclude the ones that we can exclude already. Let's exclude these two. Anything else that we can already tell? Not really. Trying to figure out the spot where I want to set up this combination of items. Right, let's get some lighter action and a paramedic. We basically are gonna do the same thing that we did on the first ghost and just sit around near the candles and check for Banshee Scream, something like that. While also making sure it's not an Onryo. Where did I set the cross up? Somewhere here? Yeah, okay. Let's place it over here instead. Stop the more assault. Yeah, it keeps wandering between these two rooms. I can't quite tell whether it's in this one or the neighboring one. Oh, I do need a camera on me as well. This should be our equipment. Alright, let's turn these on. Let's turn the, okay, there's one whisper. So, we're basically checking that if the ghost turns off the candles, yes, that's how you say that, if the ghost extinguishes the candles. Ooh. That was a lot of interactions at once. What the fuck? Another duo of candles off? So normally on third candle extinguish, it should start hunting, if it's an Onryo. However, we did have another candle there that might have blocked it. Interesting. I don't know how sanity we are, obviously. Hello. I was too slow, fuck me. Well, we got a footstep, apparently. I was apparently close enough for that to hit me. I should go back outside and check where my sanity is at. So that we can possibly judge Moroi sanity drain, that sort of thing. Also, it was a small ghost, so setting it up at waist level or lower is actually useful. It being the motion sensors. 42. It didn't hunt us yet, that's kind of unusual. Let's pop those. Why is the sound not playing? Streamlabs, what are you doing? Very good. Why are we this low on sanity? Doesn't really make sense to me. Well, guess we'll grab those. Yeah, sure, let's just grab all three of these to maybe try and survive. And then we go back to squatting in that area. I want it to be high enough on sanity that a normal ghost couldn't start hunting. Guess we'll leave this here. Well, back to this for a bit. Okay, so I want to take a picture of the ghost so we can rule out Phantom. I want to see it extinguish more candles without hunting. It's probably not an Onryo at this point. That was you breaking the light, fair enough. Okay, you're definitely not a Phantom. Now this is no longer important. Like, the photo camera is no longer that important. Anything else we can say? There's another whisper. I think one of them was an airball event, wasn't it? So it's not an Oni. I should have this out in case it's a banshee. Not a shade. Shadows coming through that window are quite interesting. That's quite the angle. Looks alright. Don't you toss shit around? Still no Banshee Scream, still no Onryo Hunt. I'm gonna exclude Onryo from the list now. I'm just staying back here so that doesn't officially hit me. I can turn the light back on, can't I? Don't you sing at me, you little weirdo. Yeah, definitely not an Onryo. Blew out the lighter from my hand before I could ignite the candle again. We should be somewhat low sanity again. Surprised we're not getting hunted. Maybe I should make it a little item pile to make sure we check for poltergeist while we wait. Beep, and gone. Right, let's quickly go and check our sanity and then come back and make an item pile for the poltergeist check. Okay, so it's definitely not a Moroi. We got Whispers, and it did not start draining our sanity more rapidly. It seems like this time we actually don't lose sanity in the light, so maybe it's just room light that is working, and candles are a bit buggy. Something like that. Anything else we can tell about the ghost so far? Roaming around a lot. Probably means it's not a Goryo. Actually, I think Goryo only doesn't do the long roam, I think it does the short roam. I'm not sure, I should read up on Goryo again. In a while, might not be up to date. It's definitely not a demon, because a demon would have started hunting us at this point. Do I want to bring in anything else? It's probably not a Raiju, I think a Raiju would also be killing us already. And if it does turn out to be a Raiju, then we'll know pretty much immediately if a hunt does actually start. Yeah, I don't think we can check for anything else without more sanity pills. Or without getting hunted and then popping sanity pills too, thinking about shit. Let me do this. Alright, let's make you a little item pile. Alright, this is broken. Let's actually make it over here. I wish I could see more in here. But the bathroom is dark and full of terrors. Excuse you. Yeah, I think the ghost blowing out a candle must be separate from a normal interaction, because it doesn't seem to have a cooldown on that, and sometimes they do that while other shit is happening. So that must just be a separate thing that happens around ghosts sometimes, rather than the ghost actively interacting with them. Well, let's just keep adding to the pile, I guess. Well, as long as you're having fun. It's another singing ghost event. Getting a lot of these. Might be a Banshee after all. We're just getting a bit unlucky with the Banshee Scream. We had 3 Whispers, I think, and the Banshee Scream is 1 in 3 chance. Oh. Normal speed. Are you a yokai? Let's find out. Oh, it doesn't work with up and down floors, does it? You're speeding up. Okay. Well then, what do we know? It's not you, you'd be slow as fuck now. Still no Banshee Scream, I kinda wanna exclude that from the list. Could be a mare actually, it waited a long time to start hunting. Yes, hi. Actually, it doesn't roam very much when I turn on the light though, so it's probably not a mare. Did not sound like it was tossing all the items in the world, especially since we set up such a big pile for it to mess around with. We should be on just about 0 sanity at this point. It did not speed up as it came towards us. Like, it didn't do the Jin charge sprinty thing. It seemed like normal speed, so it's probably not twins. It didn't change model, but I don't know how often it has to change model, so maybe we shouldn't rule about Obake just yet, but it might not be an Obake after all. Or anyway. I could maybe check for yokai in the future if we grab the torch. This should be around 1.5 minutes now. Wait, that's a hunt? No, that wasn't a hunt, what the fuck? That was so weird. I couldn't turn the light on there for a moment. That's a hunt. You're definitely not a spirit. So it was normal hunting cooldown. We should be on 0 sanity, right? So, or at least pretty close to that. Actually, we're doing reasonably well. Let's pop 1 pill, that brings us to roughly 50 something. And then let's sit in the darkness and see if it hunts early. In that case, it's a fucking mare. I don't think it's a mare, because mares are supposed to wander a little bit when you turn the lights on in their room. Or maybe not supposed to, but they do that very often, basically. I guess we'll just leave it at that and go back in. We have 1.5 minutes now, or well, roughly a minute now at this point, before it can start hunting again. I wish the sanity drain would work reliably with the candles right now. As in the prevention of sanity drain, because then we could say we're guaranteed to be at roughly 55%, which would be above the normal hunting threshold. But we're otherwise in the dark, so a mare should be able to hunt right now. But I can't reliably say that we're not losing sanity right now, because of what happened in the first game. It's a bit unfortunate. Still need to check. It didn't change model again, so I'm gonna say it's not in the Barca. Right here with me. I'm gonna need to try and lure it downstairs a bit further this time. Could turn on the fan or something downstairs. Maybe not. I kept getting 3.6 on the Paramag. May I have some whispers? Oh my god, the smoke's attacking me. Where could that have come from? You are hanging out right here with me, huh? Interesting. I guess that's one way we could check for Banshee. It's another whisper. Okay, let's see. Are we still above 50% sanity? No, we're below. So we definitely lost a bunch. It's not hunting us though. I mean, it doesn't have to, but it could still be a mare. I don't know. If the mare does consider the candles to be, like, in the light, so to speak, then it can't hunt us above 40% sanity. As long as we're squatting on a candle. I don't know if it does that though, or if it only counts room light. We've gotten 4 whispers and no screams, so I'm gonna say it's not a Banshee. If it does turn out to be a Banshee, then so be it. There's not really much we can do about that. I guess we can test for Yokai and Myling next, when we next get hunted. It's gonna be a little bit awkward, but I'm sure we'll manage somehow. Actually, it might not be that awkward after all. Well, doing both in one is going to be hard, but testing for Yokai should be pretty easy upstairs, actually. I'm gonna go and grab one of the motion sensors, and I'm gonna go to a different room and hang out there for a while and see if the ghost roams to me. That would be a Banshee thing to do. It's another singing ghost event. You really want to be the best fake Banshee the world has ever seen? Got one enough off for a bit. Thank you. Oops, that was me, I double clicked. How do we best do that? Guess like this? Does this work? It does. I want to get my torch. Fuck you. I don't want the shampoo, I want the torch. Plus, thank you. So what I'm doing here, if it is a Banshee, the Banshee will naturally roam to my location every now and then. It'll just wander over here to me, which a normal ghost can also do sometimes, but it's less likely to go exactly to where I am. So if I'm hanging out here in a different room, in a corner where nothing weird has been going on the entire time, then the ghost might randomly decide to wander over here to my location, and the motion sensor will tell me, which would be a good indicator for it still being a Banshee after all. The second... Are you roaming here? I didn't hear anything get thrown or turned on. Maybe? No? Let's call that a no. The second benefit is that if it hunts in a second, we can turn on the flashlight, and if it is a yokai, then it won't find us. If it's not a yokai, it'll roam over here immediately. I think I have to do that up here, because the upstairs-downstairs audio is kind of fucky, and detecting things upstairs-downstairs is also kind of fucky, so I couldn't check from below the stairs like I tried to do earlier, because the ghost might just be struggling to spot you anyway with up and downstairs stuff. Oh, unstarted. It wandered off. It might be a yokai. It's gone downstairs. Oh, it's coming back up. We're geographically not very far in terms of distance from the stairs. It should be able to detect those. Especially since the torch is flickering. You might be a yokai. Hmm. Oh, was the EMF going off because of... Yeah, the EMF was going off because of the crucifix. Fair enough. Alright, let's try that again. So, we were hanging out in the corner over here. Yeah, there's no way this is not close enough for the ghost to detect me. So the ghost should normally pick up any active electronic device that is in my hand and use that to find where I am and immediately come over here. So if the ghost is hunting and I'm in this corner with the light on, it should notice the light being on or my electronic device in my hand and immediately come over here. But it didn't do that, which is probably a yokai thing. The yokai has a very, very short detection radius for like sound and electronic devices that are in your hand, so that's why I'm trying to test it this way. So we just wait for another hunt, and if another one starts and it's roaming around there and it's not detecting the flashlight, then we should be good. And be able to call it a yokai and call it a day as well. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not a banshee. I heard the footsteps just fine, even though we were a little bit further away, so it's probably not a myling. There's nothing we can say about the Goryo or Yurai, both of those have perfectly identical stats in Hunt. Mare is pretty difficult. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I mean, my torch was flickering again and it couldn't detect me. Why can't I close the door? Excuse you? There we go. I had run around downstairs the entire time, so we couldn't really test more thoroughly for yokai. We'll have to do another one. My light's back on so we can function. But yeah, I think the way it works is if you're in the area that your equipment is flickering in, you should be close enough to the ghost for it to detect you. Or at least very, very close to the radius in which it can detect you. It shouldn't be that, sorry, my nose is a bit stuffy. Let me blow it again. My flickering? What? What's with my flickering? Sorry, Mayus? You came right for me this time. Maybe you are not a yokai. Hydrate, I shall. No worries. I figured. You must be a yokai. I guess I just got close enough. I'm gonna call you a yokai and leave. I really need to get very close to it to start detecting my active flashlight. Also, like I said, with the remaining ghosts there, I find it really difficult to tell what we should still be checking for at this point. I mean, we have more smudge sticks. We could just try again. Wait for it to come downstairs, see if we can check that way again or something. Or maybe we use the exact same setup. Okay, fuck it. Let's do it one more time. Oh, you actually turned off the breaker this time. Interesting. So, yokai is effectively deaf for all intents and purposes. Normally, a ghost is supposed to hear the electrical, like, whirring or whatever coming from your electronic equipment if you have it in your hands while it's hunting you, or if you say something on the microphone. However, the yokai can't really detect that unless you're very close to it. Like, so close that it probably just kills you immediately anyway. Not quite, but like, a lot closer than a normal ghost, basically. Yokais also start hunting you if you talk next to them sometimes, but that's pretty difficult to check for since we're on 0 sanity and the ghost just kind of tends to hunt anyway the moment it finds us. Or the moment it wants to, basically. Not sure why I said finds us. I fucked this up. It saw me entering the room. We didn't have enough time to set up properly. I mean, I'm gonna die here anyway, it doesn't matter. Or I can die here anyway, it doesn't matter, so let's just check one more time. Oi, ghost! You suck ass! Oh, never mind, the hunt is over. One of the benefits of the weekly challenge is that you don't actually... Did you just turn the breaker off again? You piece of shit. I can't see without the fucking lights on for some reason. Weird thought. I thought I had one more smudge stick. Didn't I? I mean, at this point I can't say anything about any of these three. These have perfectly default behavior. And perfectly identical behavior. I don't want to call it a mare, I feel like that's not quite the right one. That was, like, these yokai tests weren't very good, I must say. Like, I'm gonna call it a yokai, fuck, let's just call it yokai and leave, bye. So yeah, you basically test for yokai by blocking line of sight to the ghost and then either saying things in the microphone, which is somewhat unreliable, or just having some sort of electronic device active, like a torch or something. It was a yokai, very good. Yeah, that got a bit fuzzy there at the end. The reason you can usually check pretty easily is that in a lot of places, you just, as the ghost roams around, you're just like sitting in a neighboring room, you have your torch on and the ghost doesn't come to you and it's immediately obvious, or at least it's pretty obvious. Not super easy, but most of the time it's pretty easy. The one major downside is that if it isn't a yokai, it'll come to you and you immediately have to use a smudge stick to survive, so that's usually why it's kinda hard to test for that if you don't have defensive items anymore. The reason it got a bit fuzzy here is because, for one, the ghost was right next to a stairwell, and upstairs-downstairs audio, or just detection in general, is really fucky. Basically, things that should work upstairs, or like, in terms of distance, don't really work if it spans, like, 2 different floors. Most of the time. Sometimes it sort of works, usually just assume it doesn't work. So I can't just stand downstairs with my torch on and then realize, haha, the ghost isn't coming, clearly it's still yokai. Because it might just not be able to detect me because, again, downstairs, upstairs bullshit. So we had an early hunt where, or a hunt earlier I should say, it wasn't that early of a hunt. We had a hunt before where I did try that sort of thing and I was like, oh, it's a yokai, it's not coming down here. And then I realized, oh wait, fuck, this is like the ghost being upstairs and I'm downstairs, so that's probably why. Then I did try that again with standing in the corner, and the torch was flickering and the ghost was leaving, but I'm not sure the flicker range and the hearing range is exactly the same, so maybe it was just on the very edge and was already starting to go down the stairs or something, and then decided not to hear me anymore, so I didn't know if that was the case. And then on the second to last hunt, it just came through the door for me when I had my torch on, and it might have just been close enough that it picked me up anyway. Like, maybe I got too close to the yokai. The yokai isn't entirely deaf, he's just more deaf, or it is just more deaf than the normal ghosts are. So that made it a bit more fuzzy, because I didn't really know for sure whether it works that way or not. Also, these pills restore 25%, not 30% sanity. I don't know why I thought that. Oh well. You changed favorite rooms 3 times, huh? Interesting. Weird. Well, anyway, that was an interesting one. So we got 2 pretty difficult, well, 1 very difficult, 1 medium difficult, and 1 pretty easy run for the no evidence challenge. It was fun. In summary, I think no evidence is one of the more enjoyable challenges, generally speaking. It can be really hard, but sometimes you have to whittle away at the list of ghosts very slowly and just rule out this, rule out that, do every single type of check you can, and then eventually you might get unlucky and come down to 2 or 3 ghosts that have somewhat identical behavior, but at that point, you've whittled away, like, what, 21 ghosts, 22 ghosts or something from the list, so I think it's still mostly fine. If you do all that and then you get the 50-50 wrong, that sucks, but otherwise, I think it's a fine challenge. As for hints, I would generally say this farmhouse has some very good hiding spots that are always there. The one behind the chair that we were using here at the end is always present, and it's really, really good. This one, you can roll the one downstairs, right below the stairwell. That one is very powerful and super easily accessible, so this game, or this house, has plenty of good hiding opportunities or ways of running away and breaking line of sight, so it's not the worst sort of place to be in. It's also not that big, so as far as the house goes, this is pretty good. If you want to get this done easily, what you should probably do is go in, use a cursed possession to lower your sanity, get hunted. If you can tell that the ghost is like super fast, or if it's a revenant or something, you'll know immediately, and then you just tag that, and then you're done. If it's a normal ghost, as in it moves with normal speed, doesn't do anything fancy, you could consider just leaving and coming back, because that will save you a lot of time, and then you don't have to do the legwork of actually figuring it out and whittling down the list of ghosts that are remaining. So, not the hardest or most impossible challenge, especially if you're willing to do this in a sort of cheesy way, but it is fun, and definitely does check your knowledge of the various ghost types and shit.